Everyone, it's Shamila Ramjawan coming to you from the Red Corner Show in Johannesburg, South Africa. Today, I have a guest on my show, Subendri Naidoo, who is also in South Africa. But before we go on, it's Women's Month in South Africa. So we are celebrating 31 inspirational women on 31 days this August. We're also celebrating the Red Corner Show first birthday. Subendri Naidoo studied law in South Africa and hotel management in Switzerland. After teaching law for 5 years at the University of KwaZulu Natal, she joined legal publishing and worked with two of South Africa's leading legal publishing houses. In 2001, she began formal training in alternative healing, and by 2004, she became a Reiki Master. She started Prema Soul Healing, offering alternate healing therapies. Her first book, Angel Heart Friends, was published in 2017. Subendri also wrote on Changemakers, third edition, with transformational stories of 25 in June 2021. She currently is a children's mindfulness facilitator, and during lockdown, she became a certified infinite impossibilities trainer in April 2020. That's a mouthful, Subendri Naidoo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shamila, so much for having me on your show. I was about to say my show because I have one too.
It's okay.
Thank you for having me on the show, and congratulations to Red Corner and their first anniversary. It's really a privilege to be a part of it. And 31 days and 31 women. I mean, how many wonderful stories are going to be heard and told, and what other shifts can happen with 31 women and yourself? So there's going to be 32. That's really amazing. And for where we are now in our society and the just not our country, but the continent and globally, I think women are finding their way, and we are grateful to have platforms like these so that we can talk about what we are doing. And yes, it is a mouthful, and that isn't even my full CV. So I was thinking I should have sent you my full CV. You would have probably fainted, because I have one CV that is my full-on academic career, and then I have another CV as a holistic therapist. And one day when I sat down and counted everything, as a holistic therapist, it ended up becoming like about 13 things that I had been working on and striving and studying towards and doing. So yes, I added even more onto it by last year. So I'll tell you all about it just now.
Well, I must say, I'm really proud of you. And, to the audience watching this as well, I want to just add that Subendri is a relative of mine. So we can see where it comes from, with these long CVs. And, when people tell me, can you please send me a concise CV? I mean, what is a concise CV? How can you actually condense all of that you've achieved in all those years into a concise CV that's 500 words? It's impossible.
It's very difficult. I can tell you that when I wrote on Changemakers, we had a stipulation of a word count that we had to work towards to write. And 25 women, and I'll just show you the book. So this is 25 women that wrote on this. And mine was just a teeny tiny chapter somewhere inside of it. So, to work towards a 500 word count, no. It's quite a difficult experience to do. I think you can do it, but you're going to miss a lot of the nuance of who you essentially are, and your character gets lost in little tiny sentences and words. But yeah, so no, 2-page CVs, definitely no.
Absolutely, because you actually don't know what to leave out of your, CV, and you don't know what they're looking for. And you might just leave out something that's so pertinent. But anyway, let's get on to the show. Subendri, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are, background, family, growing up, anything that you want to add?
Okay, so I was a little shy girl. I was born in a town called Pietermaritzburg. Hint, hint, because you're also from there. And I was very introverted growing up. Oddly, for a very introverted child, I studied law. I tell everybody it was more to piss my mother off than anything else, because she wanted me to do something in the medical field, and I hadn't studied that hard in school. So I wasn't that school intelligent, but I was intelligent enough to know that I didn't want to do a career that was considered mainstream by our cultural background and growing up. Because if you weren't a teacher, doctor, or a lawyer, something was wrong. Yes, but I chose law. And I chose law, and I also decided I was never going to practice law. So everybody looks at me and they're like, well, why did you study a law degree? And I was like, it's something I like. I like research. I like academia. I like knowledge. And there was a certain logic behind studying law for me. It also helped me build a sense of community and understanding in terms of human rights and how people are treated. And I ended up getting involved in the advice desk for abused women. I became a counselor. So yeah, see, I leave all those things off my CV.
Yes.
So I like to think that they are conversation points with people. And finished my law degree. I didn't want to practice. I told my dad, this is not for me. I cannot take money without knowing that I'm giving something good back to somebody. And the experience that I had with a law firm had jaded me, because the practitioner eventually got struck off the roll and he was doing some really illegal stuff, etc. Anyway, I ended up going to hotel school, and I have a postgrad in hotel management and tourism. And everybody's like, okay, you're going to hotel school? Yes, for 3 months. I worked at a hotel, and when my parents decided to change their lives around, I ended up moving back home and getting into legal academia. So I literally fell into something that I always had a passion for. I taught for 5 years, and then I decided one day, are they going to build a little statue of me? Because I've been at this institution from the time I left school. I graduated from there. I now left, went away, came back. I'm now studying there. They're gonna build like a monument after me and call it the Subendri Naidoo statue, because this woman has never left anywhere and done anything else with her life. That's where she's been. And I had looked at my students, and my students were going out, working in corporate, and they were experiencing life on a different level. Whereas my academic life I would probably be Dr. somebody by now if I was really clever and stayed in 16 years ago. So I decided to take the plunge, and I left Durban, another hometown, and moved to Johannesburg for the first time. Worked at a company called LexisNexis, and that is where the legal publishing started.
Okay.
And I started getting involved, and the traveling and getting to know all the institutions. And that just happened over the years. And then another break in life, and I ended up working for the second legal publisher, Juter and Company. All names that if you're in South Africa, you're probably very au fait with.
Absolutely, yes.
So I worked at really huge places, but I still didn't find that essence of what was my passion, because growing up, we never received that kind of mentorship to sit down and like, what is it that you want to do that makes you a happy person? Not money or anything else, because money can be made in different ways. It's what makes you happy. And helping people make me happy. Knowing things makes me happy. Imparting that knowledge made me happy. Teaching was good for me at a certain level because it opened me up. I'm able to do things like this. I could never talk in front of people before. If I was in school, I could never say a speech. I think I failed every English speech that I did in my life. but I matured, I changed, and all of that led me to where I am today. And with all those experiences came some life challenges of relationships and romantic relationships that just went south. And if you read my chapter in the book, my poor ex-boyfriend, I talk about him all the time. I think his ears must have burnt off by now, and there must be dust. It seems to be the butt end of all things. That it just happens that way when you are in that space and you know there's a life-changing moment that's going to happen to you. You're either going to make one decision or another decision. You're going to decide that you're going to step up a level for yourself, and that's what happened to me. I stepped up to the level where I wanted to be independent of the manipulation, of the judgment, because a lot of it was deep-seated and coming in even from my own childhood, where I was questioning whether I should allow those kind of people to still have those kind of conversations with me. And I ended up going to Reiki, and that was because of him. He thought I was going to go to become a massage therapist. I ended up becoming a Reiki Master by the time our relationship broke up. And it helped me because those were the tools that I needed at that time. And as life went along, I got to do other modalities, and those tools have helped me in other spaces. So by the time 2019 rolled around, I had decided enough with the corporate. I've had a wonderful experience. I've managed to write one children's book really successfully. It's not
Can I just stop you there? Can I just stop you there?
Yeah.
Why a children's book?
Okay, I don't have children, which is also another thing. I don't have children of my own. I have lots of nieces and nephews from cousins and my sister. And out of the blue one day, I had, in a couple of my meditation classes that I used to go to, I kept getting the message that I need to write a book. And then it kept coming back, you need to write a book for children. So I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be like an airy-fairy kind of book. I'm going to write about crystals. I'm going to put a couple meditations in. I'm going to make it like this and everything else. And for those of you that don't know, as a holistic therapist, over the years, I've followed people like Louise Hay, who started off Hay House. And I actually published the book with Balboa Press, which is the self-publishing arm of Hay House. So I've always kept myself in that stream of that mindset. So I was listening to Dr. Wayne Dyer, who's one of my mentors that I really looked up to. And now that even though he's passed on, there's still moments where it comes back to things like this, where I can share with people what had happened. And he was talking about publishing and writing. And by then I had just started a little sketch of what this book was going to be. And he said, there's more of a need for children's authors in this world. And I was like, wow, isn't it weird? He's saying this now, and I've actually started to write the story. But when I started writing the story, I didn't realize the depth that the story had taken. So the story is about three girls who are friends, and they are called Angel Heart Friends. Excuse me. It's all this pollen that has decided to pop up in one day. So the three girls are friends, and this is basically the book. I have done a revised edition of it, but the reason why it got written was all three girls come from different family types. And so my book not necessarily is just only about angels and crystals and meditation, but it's also to teach people that family and love come in different forms. So I've covered a nuclear family, a same-sex family where you have same-sex parents, and a family where you have children that are adopted into a family where there's been a loss of a loved one, and how they get together and make a cohesive unit with each other. So all in all, I tell everybody, I'm a true author because I've killed people, I've killed pets, and I've killed people in my books. So it's not
Don't
just
say that. This is a global chat show,
yes. So, so if you out there and you want to write stories and you're looking at what you're going to do, mine just morphed into something bigger than what I had eventually thought it was. It has activities for the children. It explains which crystals that they need to use for the activity. It has meditations in it. And when I did it in 2017, I was at a vibrational level where I was already breaking through into my own space and finding myself and what I want to do for me and what I am going forward and who I am, and that authenticness of the path that I want to walk in life and what I want to impart with everybody else. So by the time 2019 arrived and I realized everything was just really, now is the time, I have to do it. This is where I need to be and this is where I need to go. Balboa Press approached me and said that they would like to do another book, but I didn't want to write another story at that time. And I had started a spiritual course called Spirit Messenger, which one of my friends, Ty Gold, runs. And it was to help me shift even more in my spiritual practice that I was doing, and also to bump up some of the therapies that I offer and the work that I offer. So the vibrational level is just not even a tad more increased. I can say to you now, shift now. And the
That is so interesting, Subendri. So how does this all tie in with therapies that you offer as a mindfulness facilitator?
Okay, so as a children's mindfulness facilitator, it would not only just be for the children. So when I wrote the book, it is to help people, not just children, but people that have had issues with bad childhood or childhood trauma, I should say. And that childhood trauma has carried through into their lives now. And there are lots of people, and I'm saying this because not that I've experienced this in my own life. There's been traumas that I've had that I couldn't express growing up. And even as an early adult, I had ignored it. And those kind of things surfaced in relationships and friendships across the board. It also sometimes surfaces in work relationships. And you wonder, why do you have that boss that you can't talk to or can't get along with? And what are these things that the colleagues you can't find a good common space with? Sometimes these traumas are triggered by those kind of things, and we don't know how to talk about them, how to verbalize them, how to deal with them. And a lot of this impacts our mental state of mind. So as a mindfulness facilitator, this has helped me to put all the programs that I offer with the Access Consciousness training as well, to put you in a state where you are in a space and you acknowledge what is taking place with you. It doesn't mean that you only have to acknowledge the things that are good that are happening to you. You acknowledge the things that are also stressing you out, but you don't allow yourself to sit in a space where you almost wallow to the point of where you get to the point of where the anxiety turns into depression, and it becomes more compounded mental issues that go on after that. And then you don't have the tools to work and to help yourself. And with the mindfulness, the access consciousness, and the body work that happens if the body work needs to be done on somebody, it all works together as one tool, because we don't say body, spirit, and mind for no reason at all. You
Yes.
have to do all three together, because your mind is obviously your intellect, and with the intellectual stuff is all the access consciousness things that I work with. And then the spiritual stuff is me tapping in and channeling and using my divine support team, connecting and getting to that space where we can find out spiritually how we can help you emotionally and otherwise. And your body is also something that you need to do, because I know you are a very avid gym fan. I wish I was as a fanatic as you. I think I used to be like that. I'm more of a couch potato these days. But it's important to exercise. It's important to move and shift, because if you look at the different structures that we are in society, everything is energy. Every single thing is made up of energy. And if something is stuck or stagnant and it doesn't move,
Yes.
you're going to not be able to shift into another position. So you have to have that shifting, you have to have that moving. And it's the world, it's the planet, it's the universe that we exist in, because everything is in motion all the time.
Yes, for sure. Now, how do you do all of this with COVID? I mean, obviously you can't get people come to you. Are you doing it online?
It's been really difficult. I can tell you that level 4 and level 5 and 4 really threw a spin in the loop for everything. So seeing clients on a one-on-one basis really did not work out at all. With Access Bars, we were able to facilitate up until a certain point. We could facilitate online. And then I think they've stopped it. I'm not sure. I can clarify that. But they did kind of tell people that up until a certain point, you couldn't teach online anymore. It's one of those modalities, you have to feel it to experience it.
Okay.
And it's nice for your facilitator to also be there with you. Whereas with infinite possibilities, I can run that class online, in person, or anything else. With my one-on-one services that I offer, I now can offer those online and in person. So I run what I call is an integrated session with somebody. So in an integrated session, we pick up to see where you are at, and I do a bioscan on you. And I get into my space and I talk to my divine support team to see the message that I'm getting, to talk to your divine support team, and to see what we need to work on with you. So there's sometimes issues that can come up, which is either mental, physical, or spiritual. And we take it from there. And I'm not one of those people that would tell you, please don't go to your doctor. I'm the first person who would say, if you have to get an injection, please go get the injection. So, I don't rule out modern medicine, because there was a time as a people, we were able to heal ourselves naturally with the energy of the universe completely. That's why you hear of it in biblical stories and in other religious sects. They talk about people having lived to 5,000, 6,000 years, whereas we don't have that anymore. I mean, our lifespan is maybe even 100 to 110 right now.
We would hope so.
I don't know if I hope so for that anymore, because the last 50 years it's been really it's been a challenge. I can say that much to you. And I don't know if I want to go through that challenge again, if it's going to be a better one. So, as they say, it's all downhill from here. So I hope it's a better ride.
No, it's not. Trust me, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, if it's not down, I don't want to go downhill. I actually want to I want to get rid of that even statement in life. Everything that we hear and we see is like we always need to be punished, tortured, or flogged to get what we want in life. And what I like people to know is that everything in life can be attained with absolute ease and joy if we allow for it to happen. And that is the biggest thing, is the allowance. What are you allowing in your life? So yeah.
That's a very interesting point. Just on that note, what advice would you give for women? It's Women's Month in South Africa. Just advice or words of inspiration, words of wisdom, anything that you want to share with women in South Africa?
Okay, so
women across the world, just women in general.
Yeah, so for women in general, I'm gonna have to do this again. So this happened to me when I took my COVID vaccine. My nose just not stop running. It was like the weirdest thing. I had to keep taking my mask off, wiping my nose and putting my mask back on. But this doesn't happen at home. So for some odd reason, this was just happening all the time. And today it seems to have surfaced again.
Anxiety issues.
Yeah, I blame it on a lot of things.
It's okay.
I can't even blame it on dairy anymore. So this is my message to women out there.
Just very briefly, because we're running out of time.
Cool. So we've been on this earth for many, many eons. And as women, we have fought to get a place in society and for people to see us, not just visibly see us, but to see us and acknowledge us, and to take us as seriously as they would have our male counterparts. And there was a beautiful meme that I saw of a man and a woman running on a racetrack. And the man's lane was completely clear, whereas the woman's lane had laundry, children, work. You can name it, you can throw it in that basket of whatever was in that lane for this woman. So in terms of looking at that, we have so many things always placed on us, and in society it's taken for granted that because you're a woman, you are able to do that. You're able to have children, have a job, be in a marriage. And a lot of that comes down to choice. What are we choosing for ourselves? And if we are choosing things for ourselves, we don't have to use other people as a benchmark for who we are and what we can strive to be. You can be a change maker today. You don't have to be an Oprah. You don't have to be Indira Gandhi, those kind of people.
Just be yourself.
You can be you. And
yes.
The more authentic you are in terms of the love that you have and the people that you interact with, that's the most important thing. It's what you are imparting to the people you are interacting with. And the more you act in a conscious space of where you are right now, and you know, and you can check in with yourself and you act from a heart space. A lot of people will tell you spiritually, the divine feminine has been missing from our planet. And because it's been missing for so long, the divine masculine has overwhelmed and overtaken things. So we need to bring balance. And we as women bring balance perfectly. Because if we can drive a car, have children, have a job, and you can still navigate yourself through a corporate job or any kind of thing that you're working towards. Even if you're a housewife, cleaning, cooking, you are still doing stuff that is important to a function in society and your community.
Absolutely.
It's how you are imparting that knowledge to everybody else that you're interacting with, whether they are other men or other women, because we really need to be the beacons of change. And sorry, that came to me while I was in the shower, because I kept asking, what message is the message? So we need to be the beacons of change, like those beacons or those lighthouses that you see out there that are guiding people towards something better for themselves. And yeah, so shine bright, shine your light. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, operate from your heart space. If you're feeling anxious about things, just put your hand over your heart and ask, is this possible? Is this for me? Is this something I should be doing? And how best, and this is my other one, how best can I serve you? How best can I serve the world? And with that is who I truly like to be always.
Wonderful. What amazing way to end the show. Thank you so much, Subendri Naidoo from South Africa, who's come on board to chat to me on the Red Corner Show during Women's Month. I wish you everything of the best and just have fun this Women's Month. And happy birthday for next week.
Oh, thank you very much. And it's really, really special because I swear to you, ever since all of this started and with my birthday and everything, these are the presents that I'd like to leave in the world, is this kind of a thing. If we can change and we can change people for the better, that's the best, and to leave more love wherever you go. Thank you very much, Shamila. Welcome to everybody else. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's shows with you.
Awesome. Please follow the page. And I think you are following the page, yes. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can actually watch the previous chats as well. To everyone watching, all the best for Women's Month, and we will chat again soon. Take care. Bye.